All right, guys, I'm here today. We're going to check out this Aromatix drop. Now, Aromatix is a YouTuber who's basically one of the biggest in the community, and I'm very optimistic on what he's going to drop in the next coming months. So there will be some 30 mLs coming out. I'm definitely stoked for those. And he actually managed to get me excited again for cheapies, which, guys, I kind of made a departure from the cheapies. I've been really just looking into like artistic niche and just shopping around. So I decided, hey, this Aromatix line looks fun. I did want to try his other two, but this is the only one I got here. I think for the $50 price point, it's actually pretty solid. This is really a good spot for it in the $50 price point. I know people would actually pay more for something with this quality level and the smell. The bottle is debatable. Some people, that's going to be your taste, what you like on this bottle. I'll show you guys the whole presentation, actually. We'll put this right back in the box and unbox it for you. So, you know, pretty high quality. When the cellophane came, it was tight, it was thin, it was high quality. It wasn't like a kind of cheesy cellophane. When I pop that off, though, you get this presentation. It says Platine Blanc on the front, French Avenue. They mashed up with Aromatix to really put out a very good fragrance, bang for your buck. The brief on this fragrance, guys, that's the first step you take when you make a fragrance, was tropical mojito kind of vibes. Now, I don't know if they looked at these other similar fragrances to clone and hybridize them. I don't think so. I really don't get that vibe from this. This is kind of its own thing, and I think it should be thought of as its own thing. I know a lot of people are comparing it to a Xerjoff fragrance, Torino 21. I would just leave that alone and just take this for what it is. I don't think it's an outright clone. It might be a play on that kind of a actual profile where like it fits into this semi-blue, white, metallic, little bit bitter, fresh fragrance. So you guys, we're going to get like a heavy top and heart with this fragrance, top and mid, mostly dominant there. And then the base is kind of just this supporting masculine kind of musky thing. So what I get from this, there's a couple of fragrances I'll compare it to actually as we go. It has, to me, a very standout white floralness, like a clean, soapy Irish Spring kind of thing going on in the white floral direction, like fresh ones, not powdery at all, guys. Just a fresh white floral, a little bit dry, kind of really more on that masculine edge for sure. This is big fragrance when you first spray it. I think that the performance is really strong for the first 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then it gets like pretty normal, like just a really decent amount of projection and longevity on this. I'd say 6 hours is where, or 5 hours is where I want to start to respray this, because I like that first 2 hours, and I would just like bring this around in a decant. It's not a weak performer, but it does have basically like a 2-stage process for me. Spray, initial spray fills rooms. Like, I'm going to have this hanging in the air now for a while. For freshies, guys, it's really tough because a lot of freshies don't last. I know that's changing and there's a lot of exceptions to that, but a lot of freshies just don't do it, like Nautica Voyage and all those under $20 ones, and even high-end expensive things. Like when they're freshies, they kind of, I always go into them skeptical personally because I don't think they last. Now this one though has a really big performance when you first spray it, and I really like it. That white floral, some people say gin and tonic, and I know there's tonic water in it. I do get a little bit of that, like a dry, bitter kind of mojito kind of style. There's mint for sure, because mint goes in a mojito, but you smell that kind of cooling effect. Not as much as like Hawas Tropical that just came out. That one has like way more of a cooling effect. Or even the cooling effect that's on like Stronger With You, some of those Stronger With You lines by Armani. That's like a cooling cold effect in your nose. This has a good nose feel to it. It's very fresh and clean, showery, soapy in that direction. Showery, soapy, and like an Irish Spring kind of smell. Slightly green and white. That's just what I get with this. It's perfectly named. Slightly metallic too. Like some of the parts of Platinum Ego East, that way that's metallic and fresh and kind of bitter. I like that. It's also like an edge in here like that. There's a metallic edge. Nobody's really talking about that, and that's something that I get a lot. I get white florals a lot, like a fresh white floral soapy kind of thing. Musks are probably involved in that as well. I've had some fresh musks kind of come off as soap to me, and this must be what they really put this together with. I'd say it's mostly top and mid heavy, and you get a really, really strong first act. Second act comes down, but I'm telling you, like, I smelled this on my shirt the next day. So what I did, guys, was I wore this and sprayed it on my shirt, and I went about my business, and it's actually reaching out really big. like really big. It's super hot out right now, so maybe that's what's pushing it, but it reaches out like really far, like 6 feet. I had my wife smell this like 6, 7 feet away outside, so it like really drifted on the wind together. It's not a weak fragrance. I don't know what people are talking about with the weak thing. This thing's got a really big arm on it, really big projection on it, and that first part of the fragrance that goes on for about 2 hours and comes down to like the second act, which I'd say is kind of stable, just normal projection, nothing too crazy, like personal's bubble kind of area. Like give someone a hug, they're gonna smell it. This one you could overdo it on the sprays actually because of that initial blast that you get for the first like hour or 2 hours. It's gonna come off you like screechy, really loud. Like be careful. I wouldn't categorize this like a Hawas level of performance. That is just like unrelenting and just basically a beating. I really do enjoy that kind of a style, but that's a very sweet synthetic fragrance. There's something about this fragrance that smells pretty natural, and it smells like something you've smelled before. It smells like a mix of a few things, and I like it. I actually do. I would rate this very highly. For its price point, I would rate this very highly. Recommendability, I would rate this very highly. Now, what got me into this fragrance was Fat Boy. He said this might be drop of the year, and that immediately got my attention. I do love watching his channel. I like watching a lot of these guys who just review like utilitarian stuff. I also like my niche stuff, so I bounce between all kinds of different flavors. On this flavor, this one actually satisfied the itch. I recently got like a bunch of fragrances in, and this one really stood out to me. I'm not trying to glaze it or hype it. I want to like just give you a normal kind of view on this thing. What you could expect is you're gonna have the same effect as like a blue fragrance, but it takes it kind of off the rails into its own more white floral. It could even be gentlemanly. I don't know about vacations or any booziness in this. There's nothing like that. I don't really get the gin thing that much at all. It does have that dryness of gin, like how that works. And it has a slightly green, like lime like sour tartness. It's really, really fresh though, and mostly like soapy kind of to me. I think it's a very masculine fragrance, and overall, highly recommend, easily recommend this. This is one of those kind of like no-brainers. Also, if I didn't mention, I like how the bottle feels. It looks like smooth, like cheap plastic, but actually the bottle feels like an expensive kind of like rock. Like I didn't realize that there was like this sandpaper kind of feel on it, and I actually really like how it feels in your fingers. I don't personally love the kind of cheap plasticky fake gold thing, but I get it. I do like how his name's across the front. That's kind of interesting for me. It's very identifiable. You could see these from a mile away. Very excited for where this is going to go. So far, my first impression is fulfilled. This basically has everything I could ask for, and I regret nothing about blind buying this. This was a killer. I have a lot of fragrances in this department, and this one really, really is super nice. I really like it. Like, it works really well. To compare it to a few fragrances, guys, I really like Blue Noir by Narciso Rodriguez. Now, there's a white floral kind of freshness to this one, and that showeredness. It's a different fragrance, guys. This one actually is more blue, but it does have that soapy white floral kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's kind of this like almost bubbly white floral soap, not like bubble gum or anything like that, or any of that soapy like bubble bath stuff. This is like a men's shower gel. I get that too from this Blue Noir by Narciso Rodriguez, and they're about exactly the $50 mark for this one, so they're like the same. If I had to choose, I'd probably still get Aromatix's every single time. I know Blue Noir is a very classic kind of like cult hit that a lot of people really like, but I'd still think it's a step up in performance for sure. You do get a long kind of dry down with this one, like a blue kind of sweeter dry down with the muskiness, but I'd have to say this one is way more of an adventure, even though it's a generic, not a generic kind of fragrance, but it's more of like a easy to wear fragrance. And another fragrance that popped up that it made me think of was Saint Bart's by Tommy Bahama. Mostly that tart part of this, not like any of the sweet stuff that's in this, because it's not a very sweet fragrance at all. It's the Platine Blanc is a very like dry fragrance, which I really get a kick out of. I like it's like a dry soapy white floral fragrance. But this has something in it too that's very similar to the high end of that. This is also like $20, so it's not something you could like miss on. Although there are some other things in this that are not like that. These aren't clones. These are just fragrances I thought of. This is Tommy Bahama's St. Bart's. I feel like they're in the same kind of use cases, but obviously the quality on this Aromatix is much higher. I'd say that it is equal to and better than something like this Blue Noir. This is the EDP. I'd say highly recommend this. I like it a lot. I'm very excited to have it, and I'm really optimistic for where this Aromatix thing is going. These also are made to be layered, is what he said, and I could see that because it almost feels like he deliberately left room in this wearing experience to layer something else. I don't know if that was intentional or just something I noticed, but I feel like if you wear a layer with this and like something else blue, like blue, I mean, you could get really creative, but I'd say something blue, something not clashing with this, something underneath it, something with headroom, this thing is going to like complement that, and it's going to go really well together. So I feel like maybe even like Blue Day Chanel or something with this on top of it, or like even a cheap blue fragrance with this on top of it. You just elevated this thing really far. So I get it. I like that. This is cool. I'm really optimistic for what's coming out next. This, I'd have to say, is nearly flawless. I say the only qualm that I have with this is some of the performance on the later part of this is kind of dead. It does last a long time and leave this very masculine kind of clean smell on your clothes, but it's not really going to give you like 4 hours of blasting beast mode like some other of the more higher performing fragrances in the fresh category. But for what this is, it's a hit. I really like it. I'd say it's going to get an 8 out of 10 because it does have some room in the performance department. Maybe as the bottle sits, or maybe as I keep wearing it, I start to notice it, or maybe I'm going nose blind to it because of the actual synthetics or whatever's in this. It does have some aroma chemicals that kind of seem to be pushing it really hard, especially at the beginning. Do really like it, and I'm very excited to have it. Overall, I give it like a 4 out of 5 and 8 out of 10, that category. It's not a perfect, flawless hit, but for $50, you're getting a really great experience. There is some niche level of kind of artistry going on in this. It's not a cheap-ass fragrance. There's a lot going on that's really delicately balanced. Nothing stands out at all, nothing's out of place, and nothing smells cheap. Trust me, I have a really discerning nose at this point. I don't really like everything. I'm very picky, and I have a lot of these kinds of fragrances where they're just like utilitarian, smell good bro fragrances, like blue fragrances might rival this. I'd say this still kind of rises to the top for me. Out of all those, I'm very interested in wearing this. All right, so definitely check it out. I wouldn't just say blind buy everything, guys. It's a fun blind buy. A lot of people really like this fragrance for good reasons. It might be for you. If you can sample it, you should. If you're thinking about getting like a signature scent or something for the summer, this one's right up there. Definitely like it a lot. Shill free review. All right, that's all I got today. Peace.